take you all over Panjim to show you right from Donapalia to the main city over here. There is something that I cannot forget to show to you, and that is a very iconic building called as the Escola Medicoalso, the Nova Goa, or the Old Medical College. Now, what is so important about this particular college? This medical college was the oldest medical college in the southern hemisphere. It was established in the year 1842, but it was not established over here. It was established in a village behind next to Old Goa called as Paneli. Now this Paneli is very close by to Ribandar, between Ribandar and Old Goa. It was established over there, and then it was shifted in the palace of the Makineses, which itself was built in the year 1702. So it came into Panjim, which was now going to become the capital of Goa. After this college was brought here in the year 1842 and placed in the Palace of Makineses, the first batch passed out in the year 1846, where 8 students passed out as doctors. All were male. But this whole calculation was thrown to the winds when the first lady passed out. Her name was Giovanna Lucinda Pinto, or Dr. Giovanna Lucinda Pinto. Again, another barrier was overcome. In the year 1953, the first Hindu lady to pass out from Goa Medical College since its inception in 1842 was Miss Yamuna Mulgaonkar, who passed out in the year 1953. I am proud to say so, that she is my first cousin. But the fact remains that this arena of medicine was now being taken over by men as well as women. These are the portals from which they may have walked out. They may have been there. So if you are in Panjim, this is the place to come and visit, especially during the International Film Festival of India. Please do come and visit the Escola Medicoalso, the Nova Goa, or the Old Medical College. Today, this college has been a lifesaver for thousands and thousands of people from Goa and from outside Goa. But in the year 1983, this building that you see behind me over here shifted to its new complex in Bambolim, where it is operating as the Goa Medical College and Hospital. Today, the quantum of number of students have increased, but this particular building is being put to a very beautiful international propaganda use for the festival called as the International Film Festival of India. The place where it was situated earlier was nearby in the palace of the Makineses. Like I told you, it was built in 1702. Today that Makineses Palace is being used, or the palace of the Makineses. They were 2 brothers actually. They are having the headquarters of the Entertainment Society of Goa over there. What you see behind me, this iconic building of Panjim, it was a huge complex earlier. But once it shifted to Bambolim, they retained the old building, and behind this building, they put up a modern cinema house. Today, when you come to Panjim, when you pass this way, on your way to Miramar or to Donapaula, just turn your head and look at this building, because this is the first medical college in the southern hemisphere. What you will be looking at is a huge heritage aspect of Goa. My Goa wants you to come and see this and give us your reviews. The Goa Medical College for you, ladies and gentlemen. When most of the people come here into Panjim, they have to cross the ferry wharf. And near the ferry wharf, you see a cross over there, a tall cross, which has got a shed on top of it. Now we always pass this type of heritage structures, little knowing how important they are. And this particular cross that you see, or what we call as the ferry cross, is a reminder, a stark and a very old reminder of a very tragic thing that happened in the river Mandovi. Earlier, there were no vehicles, there were no motorcycles or cars. People used to travel by boats or canoes. It was the 3rd of December, the year 1901. 3rd of December is celebrated as the feast of St. Francis Xavier at Old Goa. This 160 people who were on board that boat Goa or launch Goa were going for the feast of St. Francis Xavier on the 3rd of December 1901. Now we all know that everybody wants to go for this feast of St. Francis Xavier, and on board there were people from all over Goa. When this particular launch called as Goa, it reached somewhere in the middle of river Mandovi, there was either a gust of wind or something went wrong, and this boat called as Goa capsized. All the 160 people fell into the river. Most of them drowned. In fact, 81 people drowned. The administration at that time pulled in all the ferries to do the rescue work, to find the bodies. But unfortunately, out of those 81 bodies, only 75 were found, 6 were never found. This happened on 3rd December 1901. Now, what is the relation of this event to this cross over here? In the year 1904, on 3rd of December 1904, we had Goans staying in a colony next to Egypt in a place called as Maidan. Now when they came down here, they contributed money and they constructed this cross in memory of those 81 people who died on that day in the launch called as Goa. It is placed right on the bank of river Mandovi, and what they have done is they have put a plaque over there, and the plaque reads a memoria, or in memory of those 81 victims of the sinister accident for the launch Goa on 3rd December 1901, and they seek that any passerby should say a prayer for their souls. 81 people died. This is a monument for that tragic event that happened almost about 115 years ago. When you pass by, say a prayer. This is a cross that is dedicated to those 81 victims. So let us just go around and see how beautifully they have put up this cross, put a plaque over here, they have put a plaque behind, and even for that matter, they have put a small sofa or a Maidan seat where you can come and sit. Let's go around and see this. our series of showing you the statues of Panji, we came here to this beautiful garden very close by to the ferry, and next to this iconic building, the collectorate building, which houses the police headquarters, government printing press. Earlier it held the central library till it went out. And in this garden we saw that there was a bust of one of the sons of Goa, and I am proud to say that we would love to live by the principles he lived by. This is the bust of Luis de Menezes Braganza, who was born in 1878 and who passed away in 1938. Now I am just going to read out to you what is written over here, and you can make out what was the ethos of this man. He said, and I quote, "Portuguese India does not renounce the right of self-determination, this being the birthright of their organic essence. He was a true Goan, and Goans are proud of Luis Menezes Braganza." But was this statue here right from the beginning? No. Till liberation, this garden was called as Jardim Oliveira Salazar, who was the dictator of Portugal. And in place of this, there was the bust of the dictator. After liberation, it was removed, and in its place, this particular bust was put up. What happened to that bust? And what happened to the pedestal? What happened to the bust? We don't know. But I am going to show you something which has been lying here for the last almost about 40 to 50 years. Nobody knows about it. Let us just go behind this statue and see what it is. Come on. Just behind this statue, you can see this pedestal over here. It's just a block of cement until you see very close by over there. I'm just going to clean whatever these leaves are fallen on top. And here I can see a lot of writing over here. It is written Salazar interpret the Unidad Luciada. Some words which are written here cannot be read, but the date is very clear. It is 1960. It is in 1960 that they had put up this particular statue over here, and they named this garden. But in the year 1961, the Indian Armed Forces took over Goa in what we know as the liberation, which happened on the 19th of December 1961. So this particular pedestal and the statue must have been there just for about a year and a half. There is a date on the side which is 20th April. Can't be read anything extra. Something that was written over here has gone off, but next time you are around here next to the collectorate and you have 5 minutes of time, just walk in over here, pay your tributes to this great man, a great Goan, and also see this pedestal which is lying over here. Now that we have seen what is here in this Menezes Braganza garden, what we will do now is we will go to a hall named after the same gentleman, Menezes Braganza, and we will see the beauty of tile work that is there in the form of azulejos, which basically was brought here from Spain by the Portuguese. here we are in this beautiful, cute little hall where we see a lot of tile work which we call as the azulejos. Here there are 6 panels related to the journey of Vasco da Gama. In the first panel behind me is the time where Vasco da Gama was given a farewell by the king of Portugal when he started the journey to find India. Now he was taking up a very ambitious journey to find a route away from the Suez Canal and a very neutral route to come into India. And the only thing available for him was going around the Cape of Good Hope. Now here in this particular panel of azulejos, you can see the king and all the people of Portugal bidding, including the bishop over there, bidding goodbye to Vasco da Gama. Now when he left from there, it was not a very easy journey for him. And on the way, he had to have a lot of problems. Now, here you can see a lot of mermaids, conch shells being blown, trying to attract the sailors and bring a stop to the journey of Vasco da Gama. They look nice. In fact, in Panjim, we have got a garden called as the Mermaid Garden. And I'm sure that that concept must have been inspired from this particular tiles that you see over here. You can see some beautiful mermaids trying to woo the sailors on the ship. All his incidents on the way may not have been bad. He may have had some very good incidents also. And that has been put up in this panel. Now here we can see some mermaids and even a bouquet of flowers. You can also see a garland of flowers. So maybe he was acknowledged on the way when he was going down. He was going down along the coast of Western Africa. And from there, he came and rounded the Cape of Good Hope, which is there in the last panel. And here, in this particular panel, you can see that the Cape of Good Hope, or what is also called as the Horn of Africa, is shown as an old man. Now, this particular part is in that part of the latitudes and longitude which are called as the Furious 40s, because the seas are very rough. No sailor wants to go in that area. But here you can see the ship, the caravella of Vasco da Gama, going around, and he is trying to stop them. You can see by his hand, by his actions. But as soon as this caravella turned around this Cape of Good Hope, Vasco da Gama was on the way of discovering a new route to come to India. It is said that when he berthed on the island of Mozambique on the other side, he was guided to Goa by a Gujarati sailor who brought him from Madagascar or Mozambique right up to Calicut in India. And finally, when he discovered the route to India, he landed up in 1498 at Calicut. And at Calicut was ruled by the ruler called as the Zamorin. And this panel here shows the Zamorin, or the king of Calicut, sitting over here, and Vasco da Gama is trying to present himself to the Zamorin. Now that is what they say, that when Vasco da Gama came to meet the Zamorin, he saw a man not dressed up in the way that he was, and he tried to show that he was better than the Zamorin. And that small incident that happened was not taken well by the Zamorin or the king, and he did not even accept the gifts that Vasco da Gama had brought for him. And from that point, Vasco da Gama could not get a sound footing in Calicut, in Kerala. Otherwise, having come over there, his base would have been Kerala. But in the year 1510, one of the officers of the Vijayanagar kingdom, Timaya or Timosha, landed up in Calicut and invited him to come and take over Goa. The downfall of Goa had started. Now, what has been preserved in this room over here is almost 100 years old, or maybe more. Now, below this, you can see poems and couplets that have been written. This, they say, were written by Luís de Camões, one of the poets of the Portuguese, who wrote O Lusíadas. So, let us take a journey around and see the beautiful tile work or azulejos in which this journey has been immortalized. So now, finally in this episode, we have landed up at a place right in the heart of Panji that is called as Azad Maidan. Right now you see a lot of monuments here, works going on over here, and there are buildings all around. But when it was built over here as a square, this was called as Prasa de Sete Janela. In other words, an open space or a square with 7 windows. Now, which are these windows? How can this square have windows? Now, if you look behind me, you see an iconic building, the long building which houses the police headquarters. And at the end, above the government printing press, at the other end, the river end, above the Menezes Braganza entry, and at the central part where you enter the police headquarters, you see that there are 7 windows. Ladies and gentlemen, what building you see today with ground plus 1 was not like this. It was just ground floor between these 3 parts, one on either end, one in the center, each having a set of 7 windows. When they constructed this beautiful T.B.CUNHA memorial, now what we see over here, the T.B.CUNHA memorial, is a monument that was built for Afonso de Albuquerque. Later on, this open space became Praça Afonso de Albuquerque. There was a marble-like statue there on a pedestal, but in 1961, the people were so angry that they pushed that statue down, and they say that this particular statue is now in the ASI museum. 1961 was a very turbulent year. The freedom struggle was going on, and on 17th of December 1961, the Indian Armed Forces, the Army, the Navy and the Air Force, they came into Goa across the border, and on 19th of December, Goa was liberated. But in this entire period of liberation and the fight to get the freedom, many people sacrificed their lives at various points, at Patra Devi, at Sosoli, at Pole, many places, at Tirakol, and inside Goa too. The state government built a memorial at Patra Devi where almost about 14 people were shot dead, and the state memorial, another state memorial at Azad Maidan, what you see behind me. Now this particular long structure which is there, when you see, it is very artistic. It is very tall, and the top has got 4 arms. It does not have 5 arms. And in between those 4 arms, there is a pyramid. So when this memorial was constructed by the Freedom Fighters Association of Goa through public donations, its architect was late Ralin Soz and the structural engineer was engineer Avdut Kamath. Now, what does this long structure portray? It says that the Goans are upholding the sacrifices. Now the sacrifices are shown as a pyramid on top, which denotes the ashes of those people who died for us, and the four arms show that people came from four directions from all over India. It was not restricted only to Goa. They came here and they fought for the freedom of this small beautiful land called as My Goem. When they constructed this memorial, they put a small stanza of one of Goa's famous poets, Baba Borkar, and it reads, Dhanya lohiya, dhanya bhumihi, dhanya tiche putra, dhanya taya che tyag dekhate, janate che netra. The people watched the sacrifices of the people who fought for this land. And to remember those sacrifices, there are two pillars on either end of the frontage. On them are put the names of 67 freedom fighters. One is written in the English script, while the other one is written in the Devanagari script. The first name is of Balaraya Mapari. The last name is of Bhagubai Patel from Daman. But what is very, very interesting over here, we did not have freedom fighters coming from all over India, from the different states of India to fight for us, but we even had a person who came from Bangladesh. At that time it was East Bengal. He came from Bangladesh and he's laid his life down over here. His name is put at number 3. His name is Nityanand Saha. What we will do now is we will go and see those names and let us pray for their souls. Ladies and gentlemen, there are many people who lay down their life for us. Earlier it was the freedom fighters. Now they are the armed forces on our borders and the police. We must find the time to pay our respects to them. They have families like we do. They are there 24 hours of the day serving the nation for us. So let us find a moment to pay our respects to them. We try to get you as much as the lesser known Goa through My Goem, the program of Prudent. Remember, My Goem, we try to bring you as much of unseen Goa as possible. But there are many times that we may not know certain things which you would like to see. So kindly get back to us on the email that you see over here. Give us your feedback. Please let us know what you would like to know and how our program was. Till we meet again, bye-bye.